So, should the Vikings trade for A1 Jalen Ramsey? I know I'm kind of late to this, but it is what it is. But obviously, the Jags star corner is wanting out. He's clearly one of the better corners in the league. He would obviously be a great addition to any secondary, even to ours, which is pretty much a first round secondary at this point. And they supposedly have a substantive inquiry on him. So, what kind of player would we be getting if they were to make some form of deal for him? Obviously, the numbers are good. He has 9 total career interceptions. He has 45 total career pass deflections, and he's never had less than 13 pass deflections in a year. He isn't afraid to put his head down and actually tackle and run support. Kind of shows in just his numbers, even because he has 211 total combined tackles, with 183 of those being solo, and has 6 tackles for loss as well. So, regarded as one of the best, if not the best corner, and obviously he would help Minnesota's secondary, but is it wise to actually go get him? Does it make rational sense? He is only 25, and that would give Minnesota number 1 corner for years to come down the road, with Xavier Rhodes being 29. He doesn't really give you that, and we've already seen some declining from Xavier Rhodes. So that could be that, but I don't see both of them being on the roster at the same time, because I know some people were kind of thinking, oh, Ramsey and Rhodes on one side, like on each side, that's a good situation. But don't think it's a wise thing to go be doing that just because of how cap is. Because you already have Xavier Rhodes making a little bit over $14 million a year. Jalen Ramsey is going to want to reset the corner market at anywhere from $15 to $20 million a year. So then you're at least giving up a first-round draft pick, and I'm already assuming Xavier Rhodes would have to be involved in this trade in order to get this done from our perspective. And so if you're already looking to get rid of Rhodes, you could be looking at this like, oh, we're probably just going to draft a corner with that anyway. But at the same time, I really wonder if we would be sacrificing another offensive lineman, where I think we can all agree we kind of need that, whether that's a tackle or a guard. So there's that. And you also have the issue of Alexander and Waynes both being in contract years this year. And getting Ramsey wouldn't make them any cheaper. So then you have about, I think there's $4.8 million in dead cap for trading Rhodes now. And then you're going to go get Ramsey, who will be more expensive than Rhodes. That's not going to make Waynes or Mackenzie Alexander any cheaper. So if you put yourself in a situation where you can't pay either one of those, or just neither of them, you could end up in a situation where if you did trade for Jalen Ramsey next season, a lot of this corner depth that we are now getting back, with Mackenzie Alexander getting a little bit more healthy and Mike Hughes, and then Holton Hill will come back after his suspension, you kind of lose all of that because you're going to probably have to trade Xavier Rhodes. You might not be able to pay either of Mackenzie or Trey. So then your 3 corners are Jalen and Hughes, and then Holton Hill next season. Well, as it stands now, and then you don't have a first-round draft pick to go get another corner if you're not comfortable with that, and you don't have the money to go out in free agency and pay one because you couldn't even have enough money to keep your own guys because they're really up against the cap. So the only way I think this is worth it is if they were able to find a way to keep one of Mackenzie or Trey Waynes, and then have Hughes take that vacated spot, whichever it be. If Mackenzie has to leave, then obviously Hughes takes the nickel. If Waynes has to leave, then Hughes will just be on the outside. So And then obviously this would be going all in on this season, which I understand they kind of already are. But then you're kind of doubling down on Kirk Cousins as well, because people have doubted this year more than last year, I think, of his ability to win games. And then if you're kind of adding in, oh no, we don't have a first round draft pick. If they weren't to make the playoffs, obviously people would probably get fired, especially after a move like this. And then you don't have a first round draft pick to go replace Kirk Cousins potentially, or at least get a guy to develop behind Kirk Cousins for a year to eventually replace him. You don't have that pick anymore because you have Jalen Ramsey. So to me, I personally think it's not better to trade for him and just try to wow them with some insane offer. I kind of think we should just keep moving along on this front just because I'm not sure if the benefits outweigh the price here. Because when we're talking about so many ifs just for this season alone, where we might have to replace Kirk Cousins potentially with a first round quarterback, we don't know. We might not. But that option is completely off the table if we do this. And I don't know if that is. I know he's a very, very, very good corner, but I also don't think that necessarily corner should outweigh potential quarterback. So that's just how I think of it. I'd like to know your guys' comments down below, and liking and subscribing always helps.